hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. We hold night school. We break down the most controversial subjects, the most engaged debates, the most interesting subjects going on in the world today. And tonight is no different. We got a few things we want to talk about. Of course, we see Donald Trump delving into South African genocide and doing it all the way wrong, as always. We have some interesting updates. We always have updates on the Diddy trial. We always have updates on the specifics of the Diddy trial. Today, some information came out about the freak offs. Sometimes things come out of these cases that we care about. Sometimes it's stuff that we're fascinated by but don't advance the story. I want to be honest about that. Sometimes, for me, it really is about the story, but I also understand that some of y'all are very much just like, this case is interesting as a piece of pop culture. I ain't mad at that. So if you want to tell those stories, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. I'll take it up with you and for you. But I'm always going to connect it to something else. So we're never going to do just like tawdry trial coverage, but we will get into some of those details. Particularly when you have an ex-assistant, which is what happened, saying that he had to clean up the freak offs. We also have, of course, Donald Trump making another measure to kill police reforms that were promised in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder / national reckoning on race / police accountability movements. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. And we're going to, of course, talk about, maybe not of course, we're going to talk about some of the latest updates from Gaza as well. But before I do that, I got to say one more thing. And it might not seem like it fits in night school, but for me it does, because I know some of you New Yorkers are watching right now. And the reason we started night school a little late is because I was catching the end of that Knicks Pacers game. It was something I have to do. It's my job. You Knicks fans are so cocky. You're so arrogant. You're so disrespectful to the game. You don't deserve to win anything. Now, look, y'all won the first round. Cool. I ain't mad at that. You're supposed to win the first round, I guess. Then you had to play Boston. Now, I'm from Philadelphia. I hate Boston. I ain't never going to root for Boston. However, the ideal situation for me in that case was both y'all to lose. Is there a way to get a tie? Is there a way for both y'all to get disqualified? I wish, because I hated both of y'all. But watching you all leave that series with an injured Jason Tatum, mind you, with this level of superiority and arrogance and trash talk, and it's not even, it's the fans. Jalen Brunson has been cool. He's cool as a fan. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to his brother, my homie Rick Brunson. Cat is, he ain't gonna win no cool points, but he's been steady as a baller, and I was the person worried about him. I was one of the people that wasn't sure he was going to be that guy. Mikal Bridges started off shaky. He's had a great, with that weird shooting form in the preseason, but he has shown up, stepped up. Josh Hart, everybody stepped up. So it ain't about them. It's about you disgusting New York Knicks fans. And last week I got on y'all. I said y'all weren't going to win Game 5. You didn't. Now, let's be clear. In Game 4, Jason Tatum had a career, or a season, ending injury. He'll be back next year. And you still lost Game 5. You still shit the bed in Game 5. And I called you out on it. Then you win Game 6, and y'all on my top, like, oh my God, what happened now, Mark? You won. You're supposed to win when you're playing 5-on-4. What do you want? You play the team 5-on-4 at home. You win. Nice, cool. But you went into the series with the same arrogance, the same bravado. You underestimate and disrespect your opponent. And this is the consequence of that. You had a home game. All you people just knew y'all going to go up 2-0. People talking about Knicks in 4, Knicks in 5. Have y'all watched Indiana? Have you seen this team? Have you seen what they're capable of? Do you see how well coached they are? What are you talking about? But you still talk your shit. I was minding my own business. Reading, writing. Trying to help the world get better. And I'm getting tagged on social media. I'm getting heckled. Y'all made a run. The game went from tied to up 3 to up 10 to up 14, I think, at one point. I looked y'all up 13, 14 points. I look back, it's tied 125 all going into overtime. I said, oh, that ain't a good sign for the Knicks. When the team come back that far, you start hearing them footsteps. But I gotta say, Jalen Brunson stood tall, played well, played hard. It just wasn't enough. But the problem is that y'all gotta stand on this, Knicks fans. Y'all gotta stand on this ridiculous position, all the shit talking, all the premature celebration. You got to deal with it. And I'm glad, because my dear brother Joe Budden, he was talking crazy on the pod today. He was happy that they won game 6. Again, you beat an overmatched team. I feel you. An undermatched team. Overmatched team, right, because they had lost Jason Tatum at that point. We destroyed the Boston legacy. Cool, you did. I don't give a fuck about Boston. That's fine. But you talking about Knicks in 5, Knicks in 4, Knicks in 5, Knicks in 6. That's what people focus saying. You were one of them, my brother. I even pointed out that you was going to be at the game. And they haven't won a game with you there. I love you, brother. But if I were a member of the New York basketball community, if I were part of the coaching staff, if I were part of the franchise administration, if I was part of the executive wing of the New York Knicks organization, I'd be asking you not to come back. Well, all love and respect. You know, I love you, man. But there's a pattern here. Something what we call a common denominator. I don't think you're allowed to attend no more home games, good brother. But beyond that, the Knicks, y'all got 3 games left. I saw Fat Joe 2 days ago. I don't know if I told Fat Joe the same thing. I said, you ain't got but 4 games left. I was teased. Now, I don't think they're going to get swept, but I like Indiana in the series. I like Indiana in this series. I like Indiana in this series. It's going to be over soon. It's going to be one of the most boring NBA finals ever. Indiana versus Oklahoma or Indiana versus Minnesota. I'd like to see Indiana, Minnesota. That would be a great finals for me, but you know, either way, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Whew. It just feels so good. I'm gonna move on, but I'm just so happy to see you rotten, disgusting, arrogant Knicks fans humbled. Now, it ain't gonna last long. Y'all cats, the arrogance will pop right back up in 2 minutes, 5 minutes. By tomorrow, you'll be talking shit again about Friday or about Thursday. But you know what? It's all Friday, yeah, but it's all up. It's all up. Because I'm gonna keep reminding you. Y'all ain't shit. All right, y'all. Time to move on to another story, an actual story, I guess I should say. Donald Trump's Justice Department just pulled the plug on police reforms, particularly police reforms. Let me do that again. Nick's got me so hyped, man. The Trump Justice Department just pulled the plug on police reform deals tied to the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, just days before the 5th anniversary of Floyd's murder. That means the federal government, they're actually walking away from promises that they made to fix the police in both Minneapolis and Louisville. Promises that were made after the world watched George Floyd's final breath and heard how the cops riddled Breonna Taylor's body with bullets in her own home during a botched raid that happened at her house but was intended for another house. These deals, which are called consent decrees, were supposed to force fundamental, structural, ground-up changes in how police are trained and how police use force and how police are held accountable. But now Donald's DOJ said, nah, it's not our job. We're not responsible for what they call micromanaging local cops. Now, we're going to get into all of this, but I just want you to understand how big a deal that is, because this sends a message, right? That the federal government is not interested in improving racist policing. And even if it's proven that the racist policing is happening, they ain't necessarily going to do anything about it. Now, of course, Minnesota is a little more complicated because it's not just the federal government involved in this. They're also bound to a state level agreement. And the police chiefs in both places are saying, we're going to keep pushing for it to change. But let's keep it 100 here, right? Without federal pressure, without oversight, without force, how accountable are they really going to be? So now folk are asking, if 5 years, 2 names of dead martyrs, we're talking about Black martyrs, and a global movement aren't enough to change or enact police reform, what will be? And that's where I want to kind of drill down just for a second. We're going to be here long tonight, but I want to just drill down on that for a second because I think it's incredibly important to think about. First, the why of it. Donald Trump and his DOJ are not pulling the plug on police reform deals 5 days before the death of George Floyd just because. They're sending a message. A not so subtle message to not just the Black people, not just to police active, anti-police activists, police reform activists, abolitionists, etc. This is to the whole world. And this is straight out of the Republican playbook. I remember when George Bush waited till like Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. I'm talking about George W. Bush, baby Bush. He waited until MLK's birthday to advance an attack on affirmative action. And I remember asking Jesse Jackson, or hearing, I didn't ask him, but Jesse Jackson said, this ain't no coincidence. He said, this is what he called it countercultural politics. He said, they know that our reaction will galvanize the right. In other words, we're all going to be, oh my God, they got rid of these consent decrees on George Floyd's birthday, or is it their anniversary of his murder? How could they? We get so mad. And Donald Trump fundraises off of it. J.D. Vance fundraises off of it. The RNC fundraises off of it. All the right-wing news platforms fundraise off of it. They get views off of it. It's not a coincidence that they do it. They're not tone deaf. They hear the tone. They just don't care. The next piece of this, of course, is what it actually means. You know, it's always a fool's errand to engage the police about policing the police. Not to say we don't have to dot our I's and cross our T's. We need to follow the chains of command, but we should never have the expectation that the police are going to police themselves. It's not just that you don't want wolves to watch the sheep. You also don't want wolves to hold other wolves accountable because they don't see nothing wrong with what the wolf is doing. And that's what happens with the police. Police can't oversee themselves. When the police oversee themselves, we know what happens because that's been the history of policing. When you look at places like Los Angeles, think about in the 90s when LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department was known for its brutal violence, its brutal attacks on everyday people, especially in South Central Los Angeles. People were submitting brutality complaints. People were submitting internal affairs investigation requests. And you know what they would do? They'd read it and they'd reject it. I remember when I submitted a report against the police officer in Philadelphia. And what they did was they let me write up my statement. They let me say everything that happened. And then they took my statement, showed it to the officer who I was complaining about, and then allowed him to respond to my specific complaints. Of course, he can make up something if he knows exactly what I said. Compare that to what police do when they arrest two suspects. They separate them. They put one in here, one over there. You know what I'm saying? They see whose story's right. They see what matches up. They hold them accountable separately. That's not what police do with each other. It's just an example. My point is, police can't oversee themselves, in the structural racism that we see in police departments is not unique to Minneapolis. It's not unique to Louisville. I wrote a book called Nobody that looked at the Ferguson Police Department. We saw the same thing there, the racist memos and emails and policing practices. The fact that Mike Brown was arrested jaywalking tells you a whole lot. My point is, you need some kind of oversight, and it can't just be internal affairs. It can't just be the snitch squad inside the police. Come on, we know better. And so the federal government overseeing these police were a proposed solution by the reform wing of the police accountability movement, or of the anti-carceral movement, or whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm an abolitionist. This isn't my strand of attack. This isn't my strategy. I don't believe that this works. There are certain kinds of reforms, what we will call abolitionist reforms, that move us toward liberation, that move us toward the ultimate goal of producing a world without police and prisons. There are others, which we call reformist reforms. I'm using the language of Ruth Wilson Gilmore here, that keep us locked into where we are and trick us into believing that policing and prisons are salvageable, reformable, fixable, and they are not. They are absolutely not those things. So what do? We have to imagine abolitionist alternatives. Moments like this are why Trump's not an aberration. It's easy to make Trump the boogeyman. But it was Joe Biden that was saying Blue Lives Matter. He was the one who said that he wouldn't ever defund the police. He's the one who said that we need more police. And Obama wasn't much different when it comes to police. Now, he's different when it comes to prison, particularly federal prison, particularly privatized prison, etc., particularly bail. We could talk about some things with Obama, but at the core, they're all liberal reformers or conservative reformers who ultimately believe in the carceral state and will do everything they can to support it and bolster it and expand it. So if you want to live in a world where people aren't overseen, surveilled, coerced, and controlled by racist police departments, if you want to live in a world where we look to heal and to restore and to repair rather than to contain and confine and blame and criminalize, then we got to do something different. So please don't think that this is proof of how awful Trump is. Trump is definitely awful in all the ways, but this is proof of how intractable police misconduct and police dishonesty, police corruption is, and how bound up it is and all these other things. So yeah, we can be mad at Trump and frustrated with Trump, but please understand that this is a much bigger problem that will not get fixed the way y'all think it will. And that's all I have to say about that. Shout out to Meg62 coming back through as a new member of the channel. We got questions and comments coming in. Billy has said, good evening, Mark. Hope you're good. I'm curious to hear your take. Info about Trump and the South African president today sounded fishy. Hope you're good, man. Thank you for that question. Let's get to it. Since you asked, I shall respond. Donald Trump just accused South Africa of genocide. Okay. You might be saying South Africa been involved in genocide. True. But that ain't what Donald Trump is talking about. Donald Trump just accused South Africa of white genocide. Not meaning the white people doing the genocide, but that white people are the victims of genocide. That's what Donald Trump is arguing. He just did it. And he did it to the South African president's face. In a wild, and I mean wild, White House sit down, Trump lit into President Cyril Ramaphosa with conspiracy theories pulled not from news sources, not from empirical research, not from skilled journalists, but from far right-wing message boards. That's right, your president is a conspiracy theorist. He played a dimly lit video in the Oval Office showing fake grave markers and angry clips of South African politicians claiming that white farmers were being hunted, their land stolen, and their lives destroyed. Now, all due respect and credit to President Ramaphosa, who did his best to keep it diplomatic. He brought three famous white South Africans, I'm talking billionaire, Johan Rupert, and golfers Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, to prove that there's no so-called Afrikaner genocide. But Donald Trump, God forbid, if he actually listened to someone who knows more, he wasn't hearing it. He just kept waving around printouts of death headlines and doubling down. Death, death, he said, flipping pages, death, death. This man looked crazy. Now, you might be asking why this matters to America at all, because it's not even like Americans are global citizens in terms of our mainstream political discourse. I'm not talking about individual Americans. I'm saying as a country, that ain't really our bag. So why are we even looking here, of all places? And the answer is because Donald Trump's claims echo a very dangerous narrative by white nationalists, not just in South Africa, but right here in the United States. It's not about South Africa. It's about the kind of America that Donald Trump is speaking to and the kind of country that Donald Trump is trying to shape. Now, Ramaphosa stayed cool. He just changed the subject. He basically said, all right, crazy person. Let's talk about trade and minerals. But then he made it very clear, and I thought this was important. There is just no genocide in South Africa. I thought that was important. South Africa has needs. They want U.S. monetary investment. They want financial support. But they don't want to be dragged and smeared and slandered through misinformation. But it's going to happen. And remember, Donald Trump has Elon in his ear, which you think would help him get more accurate information about South Africa. But of course, there's two problems with that. One, I think they beefing a little bit. Donald Trump hanging with new billionaires. He got a hot young thing. You don't need Elon as much no more. That's where it get tricky. So I'm not sure how cool they are, but on top of that, Elon Musk loves a good lie. He loves to advance and retweet and repost, what do you call them? Conspiracy theories and disinformation campaigns. So, you know, that's right, Nicole. He's getting Arab money now. I'm assuming you didn't say it like the Busta Rhymes song. He getting Arab money now. So with Donald Trump over there flirting with the Arab sheikhs, the shuyukh, you know, they don't really need Elon in the same way. And Elon's like, I think I've given enough. So Elon also understands what's at stake here. But either way, there's nobody in Donald Trump's ear helping him separate bad information from good information, lies and right-wing conspiracy theories from real stuff. I mean, we're going to talk Pizzagate, QAnon. I mean, where do we stop this ridiculousness? That's the problem. Donald Trump has not. And he will not. So watching Donald Trump go on the global stage and embarrass himself, his supporters, the country, is stunning to me. And it's something that obviously I expected this time around, but if you had told me 10 years ago this was going to happen, I'd have said, hell no. America is an empire. It's a brutal, ugly, vicious empire. I just never thought at the helm of that empire would be somebody like Donald Trump. It's crazy. We'll keep watching it. And of course, if people have any concrete information to support the claim that there's a anti-white genocide happening in South Africa, please bring it. Otherwise, I'm gonna focus on real genocides. I'm going to look in Rwanda and Congo and in Sudan and Gaza, and I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna do what I do, and pay attention to the stuff that matters as opposed to this ridiculousness. All right. Thank y'all for watching the show tonight. I got one more conversation piece before I go. And Bullet, do me a favor, Bullet the Bunny. Drop in your. Apparently, I missed your question from last night. I got a sort of note here. Jazz LP Dallas is fine as saying, see your super chat from last night. I missed it, but I'm happy to look at it and look forward. Also, shout out to Jacqueline for the generous donation. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Anyway, let's get to this Diddy stuff. As much as I hate to do it, it's also like ain't the worst thing to do. All right. They say power protects power. And in Diddy's case, that protection and power might have also come with drugs and baby oil and a whole lot of threats. In federal court this week, Diddy's former personal assistant said cleaning up the mess after 6 marathons, sex marathons, was just part of the job. I don't know what job that is. But George Kaplan, the assistant, testified that he tossed liquor bottles, pills, and lube after what prosecutors call freak-offs. And if you didn't know what a freak-off is, you should at this point from pop culture. Freak-offs are sex parties that allegedly involved Cassie, male escorts, and sometimes violence. Kaplan said Diddy sent him out to buy some MDMA. If you don't know MDMA, now allow me to feel cool for 10 seconds and say it's a drug whose street name is ecstasy or Molly. And Diddy sent him to get the drugs and delivered so-called medicine kits filled with prescription pills to hotel rooms. Now, Kaplan has immunity. Just want to make that clear. I don't think it's particularly relevant, but if I don't mention it, it'll seem like I'm not mentioning it for a reason. So now that he's got immunity, Kaplan is spilling everything, including the moment that he quit. He says that he quit after watching Diddy beat Cassie. I want to just add something to that. There were a lot of people on Diddy's team. There were a lot of bodyguards and assistants and colleagues and mentees, whatever, who are all over YouTube, all over the world, talking about all the awful things Diddy did. But they didn't leave. The ones I'm talking about, they stayed. They made money. They exploited the situation. And so for me, when I hear somebody say, hey, I quit after watching what Diddy did to Cassie, I respect and appreciate that. That's all. But it gets crazier. Cassie says when she tried to date Kid Cudi back in 2011, that Diddy totally lost his mind. She says he threatened to hurt both of them and demanded $20,000 from Cassie's mom. You hear me? She says he threatened to hurt Cassie and Kid Cudi. And then allegedly, according to her, Diddy went to Cassie's family, her mom, and made her give him $20,000 or else he was going to leak like a sex tape, allegedly. So that's an ugly, vicious, nasty thing to do. Again, I can't prove he did it. I can't prove he didn't do it. But I'll tell you, anyone who would do that is a terrible person. And then it wasn't just extorting Cassie's mom. She was seeing Cudi and Diddy's latest allegation against him. And we heard this months ago, so this is new information to most of y'all, but it's new to the court, is that Kid Cudi's convertible got blown up. Kid Cudi's car was blown up because he was dating Cassie. It seemed to be a threat that was made allegedly and carried out. It was more of a promise. Now, Diddy's team is saying something very different than Cassie's team. Diddy's team is saying, look, we up. We're winning this trial. This isn't sex trafficking. it's just an unhealthy relationship from what they call a complicated man. I think we can take a step back and say Diddy's not complicated. I mean, he might be complicated, but he's also just awful. I don't need a morally, ethically ambiguous descriptor of him. He's awful. I don't know enough about Puff or his life to have any opinions on this from a personal level, but from the outside looking in, it looks to me that the trafficking part of this case can still be made, and that it will be made, and that it just hasn't happened yet. In other words, I think that the prosecution is slow walking its case. They're putting things out very deliberately and intentionally. They made a few mistakes now in the last 48 hours, but at the end of the day, they're building a case that Diddy's as a scary monster behind closed doors and when the cameras are off. Once you establish that, even from things that don't seem pertinent or directly germane to the charge, i.e., this isn't racketeering, even if he beat her every day, someone could argue it doesn't mean he did the things that he's accused of doing legally. But the problem is so many of the charges against Diddy hinge upon a person being coerced, forced, or frauded. And so it's if Cassie at any point says that she engaged in activities that she didn't want to do, or she engaged in activities out of fear, that complicates things, particularly when there's sex workers involved, because now the sex workers are illegal and wherever they are. And using your business to pay for them is super illegal, no matter where they are, at least in the United States. I mean, not in the world. So with those things in mind, you might need jury nullification. So like I could see a jury saying, look, Diddy's terrible, he's fucked up, but he didn't do this thing he's charged for. But juries tend to be more nuanced and complicated than that too. They may be like, he did something. We don't get it with something. Like what Denzel said, I'm leaving here with something. Might be one of those situations. I can't say. What I can say is that it is highly unlikely that the jury doesn't see Diddy as a monster at this point. It's just a question of how tightly they are attached to the jury instructions, how closely they read what the do's and don't do's. Like if they do all of that and look at all the evidence, I don't see Diddy getting a full not guilty. He may not get roofed, but he gonna get, again, he leaving here with something. But you know what's next? Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi up next. Kid Cudi on deck. He's gonna hit that stand, and sky is gonna open up because people want to hear what happened when you started dating Cassie. How'd you know your car was blown up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're gonna find all that out because he's testifying tomorrow, Thursday, May 23rd. And he's gonna have an impact. That's all I'm gonna say. He's gonna have an impact. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. That's all I have to say about that. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Waiting for your comments to come in. In the meantime, y'all, we're gonna roll out in a second. But I want to catch Bullet. Bullet, can you paste your question at the bottom here? I don't see it. I'm trying to find it in these comments. I don't see it. Is Bullet here actually? Oh yeah, she is here. Well, I don't see it. I don't see her. So I tried. Sorry, Bullet. You must have left. You must have bounced. I understand. Okay, yeah, I look for it, Jazz LP. I ain't find it. Shout out to everybody who gave a super chat or super sticker or what have you. I'd love to hear more. Okay, Bullet, I see you now. Can you just paste it one more time? I'm slow, and I'm sure it's there. I just don't see it, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it fast. because you are our last question, it looks like. I see you saying you're gonna get your 200 characters worth, but I don't see the thing. Ooh. Yeah, I don't see. I don't see it, Bullet. I apologize. Can you just drop it in the bottom? Okay, Bullet's question. I see. Oh, can Dr. Lindsay come in to talk about Adriana Smith? Absolutely. 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 I think that'd be great. For those that don't know, Adriana Smith was a 30-year-old nurse and mother who was about 9 weeks pregnant in February when doctors declared her brain dead after she suffered a medical emergency. But that is only a kind of small part of the story. Adriana's mother, April Newkirk, says the doctors at Emory University Hospital have been keeping her organs functioning since then until the fetus can be delivered, citing a law in Georgia banning most abortions after fetal cardiac activity can be detected, or roughly 6 weeks into the pregnancy. Smith is now roughly 22 weeks into a pregnancy and has been on life support for more than 90 days. Now, I'm listening to this woman's mother speak about it. She was quoted in NPR where she said, "My grandson may be blind, may not be able to walk. We don't know if he'll live once she has him." And I'm not saying we should have chosen to terminate the pregnancy. What I'm saying is we should have had a choice. Everyone knows where I stand on this. I'd love to have an expert come in and talk about it. Someone who can speak with greater depth and nuance and really focus on that issue would be amazing. I'd love that. Let's try for tomorrow. If I can't get it for tomorrow, but I'm hoping we can. We'll do Monday, but we'll get one of those 2 days. From my end, it'll be done. It's just a question whether they can make it. Yeah. Anyway, family, I love y'all. I'm tired. Been a crazy day, but I love y'all. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. So let's keep pushing, man. Let's keep going. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you're so inclined, please hit that join button, family. I see more and more people joining the channel. We're coming up on that 200,000 subscriber lens or milestone, excuse me. And I'm excited and proud about that. But I want to jump right to 250. I want to jump right to 300. We want to build this channel slow and steady for the people who love us and depend on us for important news and ideas. So thank y'all. Thank everybody who shouted me out, shout out the channel. Thank everybody who has believed in the work that I'm doing and continues to. Hit that like button. That's all I'm asking. Hit that like button. If you hit that like button, man, it really expands our social media footprint. Also, hit the subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, it's not just that we get into more spaces, it's that we get the higher volume and the love and the algorithms and all that stuff, man. Let people know that where they can find y'all officially. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. We got another one coming in. Oh wait, no, that's Billy Halves. I apologize. It said I had a new comment. Anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. When you hit the like button, the like button lets the YouTube algorithms know who we are. It lets them know that corporate media is not the only game in town. Subscribing expands our social media footprint, which just gets us into more places. That is super important. In the meantime, hit the like and subscribe button, but also hit the join button if possible. Hit the join button if possible. Some of y'all see the join button. If not, check it. Log in to YouTube on your desktop, or just look in the description. There's a link there for the join button. You can become a monthly paid member of the channel. That means for as low as $3.99 a month, you can be here every single night. You can be in the classroom. You can get exclusive member access. But most importantly, besides all the stuff you get, you also have the opportunity to give. You have the opportunity to help build and fortify a grassroots, independent, show enough left-wing media outlet called Night School. And I want to do that work every single day for y'all, and I do. But I need your help and I need your support. So please hit the like, subscribe buttons, but also, family, please hit the join button. And if that's not your bag in terms of your mode of delivering donations and such, I'm asking you that you then go to one of these wonderful places. You can go to Cash App, you can go to PayPal, you can go to Venmo, you can go to Zelle. All of them work. And you can drop something in. It's a one-time payment. You ain't got to make a monthly commitment. You can make a one-time commitment. You could send $1 to Cash App or wherever. I'd be grateful. You have no idea how grateful I would be to get $1 from you, because I know that it's not going to me. I know that the $1 that you donate is going to go to the people. It's going to go to the hungry, those who are struggling readers, those who, whatever the thing might be. Here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do. Make the one-time payment right here. Let me show you. Let me show you one more time. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. You can give $1. You can give $5. You can give $10. You can give $1 million. Whatever you give, we'll be grateful for, family. But I do want to be clear. It's the 22nd of May, and we're entering the zone where it's time for us to pay our bills. We pay our bills. We pay our bills. How can I put it? We got lots of bills. I got a staff. We got bookers. We got producers. We got people who cut the content down into smaller pieces. We got people who live stream for us. And we need to support all of it. And I'm building this channel with no financial support from a corporate outlet. I'm building this channel with absolutely no underwriting from major media. This is purely on the muscle. This is for us, by us. And some of y'all are old enough to know what for us, by us means, but it means a lot to me. It means a lot to us. We're building this on the muscle. We're saving it on the muscle. We're expanding it on the muscle. But the muscle is not just me. It's all of you. And I'm so grateful to everybody who supports us on a regular basis. All I ask is that this month, you support us one more time, as you always have. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle, and drop something in. If you drop in $1, we're grateful. If you drop in $1 million, we'll be grateful. Maybe even a little more grateful for $1 million. But anything in between is more than welcomed. I would love for someone tonight to say, you know what, I want to support the channel for this year. Let me just donate $10,000. If somebody wanted to drop $10,000 in the Cash App or the Venmo or wherever, I would be incredibly surprised, but also incredibly grateful. Somebody out there may say, hey, look, I don't have $10,000 to spare, but I can spare $5,000. Family, please consider somebody out there who's watching this program in a place that won't normally broadcast stuff like that, or people who see me in a space where you don't normally see people who look like me. Whatever the thing is, family, it's one thing to support with your eyeballs. It's another thing to support with your wallets, your purses, you know. And again, if you don't have two nickels rubbed together, if you don't have any money, that's okay. Just keep watching. I don't want this to be a pay only situation. But if you do have the resources, even if it's just a one-time payment for tuition for the month, drop in that $10, y'all. That's for the whole month. Just a thought. Some of you won't have that much, and you say, oh, I can't donate that kind of money. How many of you right now could donate $100? Right? I want you to consider if making a payment of a donation on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. I prefer Cash App in number 1 and Venmo number 2, but it's all love. You know, Zelle's good too. They're all good. But the point is, I think there are enough people watching Night School tonight that could donate $500. So I want to ask if you can, please do. And somebody said, look, I just ain't got it like that, but I can help a little bit. $50, $100, whatever it is, we're grateful for it. But the ultimate goal, I'll be transparent with you, as I say many nights, if everybody watching right now were to just give $5, we'd be okay. We meet our financial goals for the month. If everybody who's watching right now gave $5. So please consider donating. Please consider supporting. We're on the verge, y'all, of building something extraordinary. We just need your help a little bit more. Thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I think we have some special guests for some banter. some jokes, some foolishness. It'll be fun. Stay